All right. All right. I think I got this. There's always some issue at all times. Something always wants to give me a hard time. Even though I stream all the time and it should just be fine and dandy. What's up, y'all? How's everybody doing? Welcome to this stream. This is April's stream. I've been keeping it up so far this year, but basically I've wanted to do an actual scheduled stream for you all every month of the year. So I'm glad I've been able to keep it up. How's everyone doing? Where is everyone from? Let me know how everything is going for y'all. How's it sound? How's it look? We got everyone up in here too. Bad Habit is in as always. Thank you for always being in the stream. I think I saw Christina was in here too. She's always in the streams. Thank you all for hanging out. Got my coffee, feeling good. A little lag. Yeah, there's audio lag all the time, and I haven't taken the time to actually like deal with that. I'm not a fan of the audio lag, especially being an audio engineer, but you know, we do what we can. Phil's in the house. Hey, Phil. If y'all noticed the thumbnail for this video, it was actually Phil's photo that I used, so beautiful photo. Thanks for sharing. St. Petersburg's in the house. We got Texas, South Africa in the house, Russia. We got the whole world. Good old Boston, Mass. I gotta go back up there. It's been too long. So, as you all know with this stream, I'm gonna be editing your photos in the stream. I don't take submissions during the live stream, and I know that's a little unfortunate, but it's a lot to have to edit more photos while I'm actually streaming. It's too much. So, if you missed it this time, just make sure to keep an eye out for it the next time I do one of these streams. I usually post on Instagram and here on YouTube when I'm going to do these live streams where I edit your photos. Now, y'all submitted a whole bunch of JPEGs, and I can't really edit JPEGs like that. So I might skip over some of them. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do just yet, but just know that JPEG is not really the way. It doesn't work out too well as far as editing and everything, so yeah, I'll try my best. But basically, I'm just gonna be editing your photos. I'll be using the Natural Fills preset, which is my personal preset that I use and I sell. Also, I'm thinking I'm getting really close to the Capture One version of the Natural Fills preset pack, so keep an eye out for that if you are a Capture One user rather than Lightroom. Boston has changed big time. Oh man, yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long time since I've been up there. I lived up there for 6 years, but I haven't been back since, I want to say, 2011, 2010. So yeah, it's been a hot minute. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into these photos. I use Capture One. Awesome. Yeah, I'm really hoping to get these Capture One presets out for y'all. Like, really. It's been the bane of my existence for a while now. Yeah, the dude Mark's in. You lose so much information to RAW. Yeah, RAW is always the way. The JPEGs it doesn't work out too well. Let's go ahead and get into these, because as we found out the last couple of times, this stream can take a hot minute. We got Bahamas in the house. Oh, I like this. I got the low latency turned on. It's actually pretty as far as me responding to your typing. That's nice. I like it. CR2. So this is Canon something. Beautiful shot. What is this? Jody shooting on a Mark III. Good old 5D Mark III. So these first couple edits, I want to walk through my approach of just how I edit a photo. Again, I'm using the Natural Fields preset pack, but this is my process. So I come in, I see my photo. Usually I'll level it up, which Lightroom has no idea what's happening, so we'll have to do it ourselves. I think it's fairly straight, but it feels off to me. Sometimes what helps me to line stuff up as well is this post back here in the back. So looking at something like that will really let me know, like, okay, cool. This needs to be straight at least. I don't want everything perfectly straight, but like just good enough. And then at that point, I'll throw my preset on it. I want to make sure the camera corrections are set to auto because we want it for Canon. And then that's when, at this point, I start playing around with the lighting, shadows, exposure. This shot is a little too green for my taste, but as you all know, I love magenta more than anything in the world. So I'm always about magenta. And this is pretty good. That's pretty much where I would leave it. Might be a little overexposed, yeah. I'm in the process of starting my photography business. Awesome. Congrats on that. And so yeah, that's kind of the end product right there. Quick and easy. If anything, you can turn some grain on it or something like that if you want to. Natural Fields, yeah, Natural Fields, I've been surprised at how well it works with everything. Like, it does really well with Canon. It works well with Fuji. It's really awesome with Sony too. It's just surprising. I was like, wow, I got the colors right. They look pretty good. These are JPEGs, so I'm gonna do my best, but we have a couple of JPEGs. I actually like this one better. One thing with a shot like this, and I'll give y'all some like kind of small critiques, but oh yeah, see, I can even zoom in on the photo, it's so small. With a shot like this, you should try and stop down if you can, rather than shooting wide open at 1.4, so that you can try and get both of them in focus a little bit. It doesn't look like it was too dark outside for this photo, so you could have raised your ISO a fair amount, drop this shutter way down, and then stop down your f-stop so that they can both be in focus a little bit more. So again, and Mark was pointing it out, Natural Fields is going to work on JPEGs as well, but it's not going to be the best overall experience, mainly because I don't have as much control over the colors as I would if it was a RAW. Yeah. Stopping down would have helped this shot a lot. It would have been really dope. I like the shot. I'm not even going to sit here and white balance. But yeah, Natural Fields, it works on JPEGs too. It's just, again, presets and JPEGs aren't, it's not the way. So this other photo that's basically about the same. Let's hit this off with some black and white. Oh, it's not gonna let me because it's, really, it won't use the, is it because it's a JPEG? Okay. I think black and white works for these as well. But again, I'm gonna skip this one. I'm not gonna spend too much time on the JPEGs. Good to see this in action. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a decent preset. And that's the biggest thing for me. I know there's a lot of people, especially on YouTube, they sell presets and they sell them for like, they have like 50 different versions of a preset. The only reason I'm selling this is because I believe in it, because it's literally my preset. So this photo needs to be warmed up dramatically. Their skin tones were totally off. Now they're a little too orange. I'm gonna come down to HSL, turn down the saturation of the orange. Again, anyone with brown skin, since our skin tends to go towards the oranger side, especially the more lighter skin browns, you want to watch out for the orange so that people aren't looking too super orange and more just like glowing in their skin tone, if that makes sense. This white balance is still kind of all over the place. It's a hard one. Here's our before and after. This is on a raft, so good old Fuji something. Thank you for your second photographer video. Very helpful. The responsibility of the main photographer is something that I don't think I would want. Yeah, it's a lot. And between my second photographer bringing it up, and I had a friend in the past, we both kind of started photography at the same time. And he seconded for me a couple times, and he was just like, this is awesome. Like, I don't know why anyone would want to do anything else. You know, like, seconding is great. And I think the main point of my videos, I want to just let people know that you don't have to be a main for, you don't, you know, like if you just want to make some good money and go home, you know, be a second photographer. You could be a second photographer and still have a full-time job if you don't mind, you know, like working 5 days a week and then picking up like a Saturday here and there, make, you know, $500 on the weekend on top of your normal job. Especially like if you don't have kids or you're single, like that's a great gig. You know, an extra $500, that's good stuff. I see your noise reduction is high. Do you leave it like that even if you're lowest ISO? I do kind of leave it like that, but I probably shouldn't. I just leave it there all the time, and the presets like that as well. It's kind of a bad habit, but half the time I do this too, because I sharpen and add grain to my photos in a different program, and I feel like that helps keeping it down. It like it's a part of the workflow so that I don't over sharpen stuff, basically. Do you only do wedding photography? Mainly. I do more than wedding photography, but I focus mainly on wedding photography. Most of all, I do people photography, but yeah, mainly shooting people. So I'll do family shoots, but it's only if someone requests it. If they don't request it, then I'm not going to do that. My end goal will be main for sure, but starting out in the short term being a second. Yeah, and that's a great way to start too, is being a second so you can learn. But you know, always, if you don't want to be a main, it's perfectly fine to just second forever. Yo, this shot is grand. A little different than your normal kind of edits. I thought you might have some fun. Yeah, I saw this, Evan. Thanks for dropping this. I was like, ooh, this is beautiful. And this is Fuji. Oh, it's a TIFF, I see. Because yeah, you had to add the panel together. So yeah, this is gonna be a much different approach. So with something like this, especially with details, I usually kick my clarity up like pretty high. Not too high because the clarity can make stuff look kind of wonky. These shadows need to come back down. The blacks probably can come down as well. Yeah, clarity, it's like weird because it adds this like fake sharpness. Oh, that's right, it's a TIFF. I'm like, ah, white balance. Too orange. I like that kind of purple. Let's suck some of this orange out. Do 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 do. So actually, yeah, let's add that noise reduction back in. Hi John, I am new here. Love your work. Thank you, thank you. Any chance you could open the Dropbox in? I'm sorry. Once the stream starts, it is all done. Yeah, this is a gorgeous shot. That's one thing I've never had a chance to try and do, which is some astrological photography. Hi John, any chance you could, oh yeah, I just read that. How can I brighten and dark skin? So with darker skin tones, the first and main thing always to the approach is you should not want to brighten dark skin tones. You should want to expose them correctly. Again, we could go on talking about racial stuff forever, which I don't feel like doing that on the stream. But never try to brighten someone's skin. That's just not, it's not a good look. So for that, you want to be able to expose correctly, and then also make sure that you're dealing with lighting and not the skin itself. So for instance, if you're pulling shadows up, that's not because their skin is so dark, but on the same end, if someone has darker skin and you shot them backlit, well, obviously the front's not going to be lit as well. So that's not their skin, that's because they're in shadow, and you just have to be aware of that. It's the same difference as you can't, a lot of photographers, they like underexpose everything all the time, but if you have someone with darker skin tones, you can't really underexpose the same way, because you're gonna lose too much detail in their skin tone, and then you can't do anything about it. So the biggest thing I would say is change the mindset and framing for dealing with skin tones. It's less about brightening skin tones and more so dealing with light and how it's affecting the color of the skin tone. These are the kind of photos I normally go to in Photoshop and do some star reduction. So yeah, that had a lot going on. It kind of got muddy because there's just so much happening. Gorgeous shot though. I gotta try some of that stuff. CR2, so we're on some good old Canon again. What is this? Mark II. Oh, 6D Mark II. Are you gonna be doing and editing your photo stream monthly, or like a live stream in general monthly? Yeah, generally I'm always going to do a live stream monthly. What the topic will be will kind of change, but most of the time it's gonna be editing photos, or like website critiques or something. I might try and see if there's anything else I can do. Someone mentioned doing maybe like an Instagram critique or something. That might be cool. But yeah, I just gotta figure out what I want to do for streams. I feel like this photo might look cool in black and white. The main reason I'm feeling like that, just because of the angle of where everyone is, you can't really totally see everything that's happening, so black and white may make it feel better. Samyang 12mm f2 is a great astro lens. Cool. John, I tried your zone focus with holding back button and got most images in focus when the bright came down out. Nice. Nailed it. Good stuff. Gorgeous shot. Here's Jody again. Let's straighten this up a bit. So that's one of the biggest things for me. I'm big on stuff being straightened. And I know it's like, whoa, but his foot gets cropped out. I don't know. I'd rather have his foot cropped out than not have the lines at least kind of straight. I hate when the horizon's like tilted. I can't do it. When do you apply black and white in some photos? It depends on how the photo feels. There's some more photos coming up in a bit that are definitely, I've already looked at them and just decided they're black and white. But it mainly has to do with the feeling of the photo. What is this? This is also Canon. Make sure our magentas are okay, especially with all the green going on here. There you go. Probably sit around there. Feels good. What's this? A Sigma 35 Art. Good old Sigma. Do you recommend home studio or just renting studios? I would say honestly that depends on your income, really. Renting a studio would be cool, but if you're not making enough money, home studio might be the way. Here's Evan again. Some good old Fuji. Looks like there's, yeah, it's shot too purpley. For once, it's too much magenta. Probably good there. It's a little orangey. How do you edit indoor pictures? Same preset? Yep, I use the same preset for everything. I've never been a fan of like using different presets for different things. It doesn't totally make sense to me. I like the same look and feel, and it works pretty much for anything. Because again, you gotta remember, presets aren't like a one click and that's it. They should be a base starting place. So if you get a preset and you buy a preset and you're like, oh, this doesn't work for this or that, you probably need to still edit further on the photo. Presets aren't like a fix the photo. They're for colors. They're to make the colors look a certain way. And then you have to deal with how the photo looks. So this is a great shot, but white balance is all over the place. Auto might fix it. Yeah, it's better. Basically, her skin tone was like so off. Might be able to warm it up more, yeah. Maybe keep it there somewhere. CR3? Was that one of the new? Yeah, EOS R. Very dark skin photos have been sent. Could you maybe include mine or some? Yeah, I'm just gonna go through the photos in order, but I'll get to them. So I like my greens cool, but what you'll see here is if I make my greens cool, it's kind of getting her to a point where her skin tones are off a bit. Also, she is not centered. We're gonna just push that over a bit because it looks like it wanted to be a center focus. So what you can do sometimes too, actually, you know what? No, this is okay. I think it should be around there. But even so, talking earlier about like skin tones, obviously she's not the darkest skin tone in the world, but I feel the photo, she's not lit so well, so I would just come in and put a shadow save, but I'm putting it on the whole, like all of her, because it's not the skin tone. She's just backlit a little bit, so I want to brighten her up in general. The main thing, again, when it comes to skin, is not trying to focus so much on the skin as you are just the part of the photo that you took, if that makes sense. So we put a shadow save on there, and I can turn that up just a little bit, just a tad. There's our before and after. Turned out pretty good, actually. Man, that thing was so blue. If you ever see this inside of your camera where it's like extra blue like that, shoot in Kelvin. Don't just let auto white balance do that to you. Like, if I see this in my camera, I will start shooting Kelvin. And you probably noticed it if y'all watched my behind the scenes engagement session that I recently put out. There was a point later on in the video, like towards the end, where I was shooting in Kelvin. I was like 7100 Kelvin or something. Because at that point in the day, it was like blue hour and everything was starting to look too blue. And the camera's like, I'm gonna make everything blue. And it's just like, no, it's too much. You wanna keep the skin tones looking correct in camera so that when you get to post, it's not as hard. This worked out, but sometimes if you shoot it too blue, you just like, you get done with the photo and it's just the hardest thing to try and white balance. Mad annoying. I'm late to the party. How do you get your presets? I have it online. I think there's a bot that's been posting the link. Also, my Lightroom menu on the right doesn't look like that. Maybe a different version. Yeah, it might be a version. I'm not sure why that is, because I noticed that when I install Lightroom on newer computers, it doesn't have, you know, all these options in here. And there's a way you can get them, but I never remember it. Why does detail and flight lay matter at a wedding? It honestly depends on the couple, but most people, because they put so much money into all their gear into all the like details and settings of the day, a lot of them care a lot about that stuff and they just want photos of it to remember everything. But honestly, it depends on the couple, because I've seen some couples who could care less, you know, so it's really a per person type of thing. This is, ooh, 50F1 XT3. This 50F1, y'all, is like legitimate. 2 green. Did I click on the right thing? No, I did not. It's like something looks wrong. There we go. I think, oh no, that got the focus. Nice. Yeah, the 50F1 is great because it's like, that F1 is crazy. Like even the arm right here is out of focus from the bird, and it's not even that far away. I see you thinking about new gear. Yeah, that Freudian slip. What are you buying today, John? Oh, my money. Wow. 135. This also needs to be warmed up. Maybe bring those shadows a bit. I don't know what. Bear got stuff all over them. Clone some of that stuff out just because. Swear photography is another level of art. It really is though. How do you keep a consistent white balance, John? I heard some Fuji shooters lock their white balance. Is that something you do? I do not. Generally, I'll just shoot auto white balance. It's only when the white balance in camera starts looking weird that I'll change it. Great shot. You see, we mainly warmed it up, really. So once in camera stuff starts looking wrong, that's when I'll shoot in Kelvin. But other than that, I just auto white balance. So there we go, straightening it up. CR3 is another EOS R. Yeah. Great shot. Oh, I'm like, what's wrong? The vignetting's all off because it's not set to. There we go. Here's our before and after. Great shot. Thanks for sharing. I think there's another one. Yep. Yeah, straighten this one out too. It's too much though. With a shot like this, they look about the same. So this is where, like, when it comes to wedding photography, where I would select the next photo and just sync the settings. Not transform though. And the main reason I do this is because it just speeds up the process, especially doing wedding photography when you're editing, you know, like 500-600 photos. Anything that will make it go quicker is like, you know, the main thing you want to focus on. Explain what this is. I am editing photos. So see, this didn't work because the lighting was different, but I'm at a starting place now, so I can change that back to as shot and we'll go from there. I don't do a lot of skin retouching, but little things like, I don't know what that was on her arm, but it stood out a little too much to me. Yeah, this location is great. This something. Yeah, awesome stuff. I love this first shot. The lighting here was so good. But can y'all tell how she's more front lit here than in this shot? Let's keep going. What's the advantage of turning the highlights all the way down? It's honestly just the way I like to do the photo. So there's not even really like an advantage to it. I mainly get my brightness from the photo from the exposure itself, not from the highlights. But one thing you will notice if you use this preset on anything that's like flash photography or like with receptions is having the highlights turn all the way down sometimes kind of kills the life in the photo, especially when it's being lit by a flash. So sometimes you might want to turn it back up a little bit. Neff, good old Nikon D5000. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying, Mark, about the colors. Nikon's probably the one that feels like it doesn't work the best with. It works, but it's so much better on like Canon and Sony, and obviously Fuji, because that's what I use. I feel like he doesn't have enough, but I don't want to warm it up too much. Even like she has enough warmth. It's him that's, it just feels too blue to me. Maybe that's about right there. I purchased a few Holdfast gear. Awesome. Yeah, I need to jump on the sale too. There's stuff I want to get. I still wish they made the small sightseer bag, the one that I'm using, because mine's starting to rip apart at this point. I'm worried it's not gonna hold out anymore. Look at this thing. It's like ripping. Oh, my whole cables are showing. So on the sides here, it's just like giving out. And that's like years of use. I mean, I use this thing at like every wedding. And it's gonna be the saddest day when this thing falls apart. But they make a new one now, but it looks a little too big to me. It's like so big. I don't know if I would want to carry that on my back. Yeah, I don't know what's happening with the white balance here, but it's bothering me. It's only him. She like has too much orange going on now. Will this available on YouTube? I want to rewatch. Yes, it will be available. Great shot. Again, it's tilted too hard, but with this, it's gonna cut off the top of there. Oh no, they're still there. Okay. That building, you could just tell how tilted it was. This is a little tight. I would have pulled back just a little bit if you could. Maybe she has a spray tan on. Maybe that's what it is. Her skin is just so much more orange than his. So with white balance, it's just kind of weird. Hey John, how long do you think it took you to find your editing? It took me like 5 years, literally. I can remember it too, because it was a painful 5 years of just being like, I hate my editing so much. I hate it. I hate it so much. It took me so long. This is the same wedding. Yeah, you see, I keep coming to turn the oranges down because she's so orange. Maybe she just has a great tan. Great shot, beautiful. But yeah, it took me a good solid 5 years before I got to a place where I really enjoyed my own editing. What preset do you use for studio indoor photography? So pretty much everything. Anything that I ever shoot, I use the exact same preset on. I don't ever use a different preset ever. Always the same thing. Here's CR3, so some good old EOS R. This one needs more warmth. And that feels about good there. Usually if a photo's not warm enough, I'm paying attention to the skin tones. That lets me know where I should be as far as warmth. You're pretty good. Wow, I'm quite happy I came across your editor like you on YouTube. Thank you. Hello John, I just tried the Brenizer method because I saw your cool video about it. but it turns out there is an error where Lightroom says it's unable to merge photos, and I don't know how to. Yeah, so sometimes when you take a Brenizer photo, and this is why I don't do them very often, which is kind of annoying. So sometimes, depending on how you took the photo, Lightroom will have no idea how to merge it. So there's a couple of ways you can approach that if it happens. So if you get to a point where Lightroom doesn't want to merge it, try out all the different ways that it can merge. So spherical, cylindrical, perspective. So try each of those and see if they can do it. If that doesn't do it, as a last chance, you can move it to Photoshop. So you select all your photos, tell Lightroom to open them in Photoshop, and then from there, you in Photoshop, tell it to photo merge the photos. It's a little bit of extra work. Usually if I ever get to that point where I have to go to Photoshop to merge, I just don't use the Brenizer. But yeah, sometimes that happens and it's kind of annoying. So Brenizer shots, I usually keep to maybe like 1 or 2 in a whole session, because if for some reason the computer doesn't merge everything correctly, then I'm okay to lose, 1 photo. What usually are your settings at reception time? When you use the presets, how do you manage to make the image look good? I had to bump my ISO to 1600 on my last wedding and can't get the edits right. So generally, as far as my settings at reception, so I'm shooting fairly high ISO myself. I'm usually around 800 to 1000. And my flash power is between 132 or 116. Shooting wide open, and shutter speed's like 1/160, 1/160, somewhere in that range. So this is cool because this is blue hour. Oh, but I kind of like it. I was gonna warm it up, but I don't think I want to. Oh, nope, that's good. There it is. Great shot. Yeah, these Canon shots are popping off. Good stuff. I heard before you said you use Mastin Labs. Yeah. I used to use Mastin Labs, the Portra stuff. I used to love Portra 800. I can actually, let me see if I can find, let's see if I can find some of the old photos. Yeah, the old school Portra 800 Mastin was like my go-to. That's all I used at first. I guess if we go back, engagement sessions. Man, this is old. My goodness. So yeah, all of this stuff was shot on a Canon 6D and used the Mastin Labs. Or actually, you know what? I wonder if this was the Visco stuff too. I used to like hop between Visco and Mastin Labs. Those were my 2 go-tos. But yeah, very, very different approach and style. Like, this is way too green. It's hurting my soul. This was a cool session though. I did their wedding as well. Their wedding actually was the first wedding I ever shot fully on Fujifilm. So even between their engagement up until the wedding, I had switched to Fujifilm. There was a shot in here that I edited so heavily. Yeah, this shot. So they were in a tunnel, but I like turned down the exposure everywhere else and just had them there. It's kind of cool. So like this was the original location, but I was able to turn it into this. My fiance will be ordering me the Lume Q for my birthday soon, due to your recommendation. Awesome, that's awesome. Do you always play around with all the colors? Not really. Once I found a preset that I like, I pretty much just stay there and I don't mess with too much more. If anything, the only thing you should be focusing on while you're editing photos is your white balance. White balance should always be good and on. So like this shot, this is probably gonna be black and white. It's something about the feeling. Someone was asking that earlier, like, how do you know if a photo is gonna be black and white? I don't know, it's just the feeling of a photo just really, it just really brings it together. I feel like it's gonna be black and white. Pull these shadows up a bit. Do you ever do retouch photos for clients? Not really. I don't really do that style of photography. As far as just like very overly edited photos, I like to keep stuff kind of natural looking, which is why the preset's called natural feels. Let's make a virtual copy. I'll make a color version of this as well, and we can see which one we like better. Pull that exposure down, pull them shadows up. So here we go with our color version. Do you use a second shooter? I do sometimes. It depends on what the couple wants and if they pay for it. But generally, I don't like have to have a second. But yes, I do use a second. So what do y'all think? Color or black and white? Let me get some votes in the chat. I thought I would lean towards black and white, but I think I like the color better. How do you deliver virtual images to couples? I use PicTime. PicTime is the same type of thing as PixieSet, SmugMug, ShootProof, all that stuff. But it's so much better. So much better. And they help you with selling prints too, so PicTime is where it's at. PicTime all day. Yeah, I think color is the way. So cool to see someone else edit it. That's awesome. Yeah, I think with the color, I want to bring more magenta in there. Yeah, just a bit. Maybe straighten it out too. What might be cool too, I want to save the skies a little bit, but I want everything to be exposed. Maybe a graduated filter. Do exposure. Yeah. Yeah. So when you do stuff like this sometimes, so if you want to, what I usually do, because you're dealing with a layer on the photo and then something else, like the rest of the edits, you can turn the exposure down almost like a little bit too much, and then go back to your main photo and turn the exposure up, because now you're just exposing the whole shot rather than just that area. Oh, you know what? This will be good in 16:9 probably. So see, I like the ground and the couple here, but the sky, I'm still losing a little too much of it, more so than I like. So I'm gonna go back and I can turn the exposure down on that just a tad, not too much. If anything, save the highlights. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Oh, it's still a little overexposed. Now I'm nitpicking a little too hard, but there we go. That's better. Hey, does your presets work on Lightroom CC 2015? It does not. It only works on the newer version of Lightroom. Did I get the stride right in those shots? I know you would always talk about this. Yeah. So, okay, so a shot like this, where the couple especially is walking away from each other, one thing I would have done to at least, and again, when critiquing photos, they're, you know, you're talking in like a past tense about something that, or in a future tense of something that already happened. So take everything with a grain of salt. But one thing that might have made this a little cuter is having them look towards each other would have definitely helped this shot. Just to bring, people like to see people's faces and kind of insert themselves in there. So them turning to look at each other just a little bit, I think would have strengthened this shot. The stride is okay. I think it's good. I have this obsession with like when the legs are apart and you can see that, maybe a little bend in the legs too. But since they're on the back, there's not really a way to deal with the stride. So I think this is perfect. It almost looks like they're running rather than walking. That looks like a run, like a brisk jog. Here we go with this is a JPEG. So I can't do much to this, but we'll see what we can. Yeah, the oranges are too much. That's as good as it's gonna get. I always hate JPEGs. I want to do so much more to the photo and I can't. You know, like. I'm so late, but I love. From Jamaica. Awesome. Thank you for jumping in the stream. What crop size would you recommend for wedding photos? I usually just keep it the same. Whatever, what's it, 4x3, 3x2, something like that. Where am I located? I am in North Carolina. Used to be in New York. Here we go with a shot from Olivia. This is a beautiful shot. See if we can line it up some. Yep. CR3 is good old Canon. Let's make sure our profile is right. So yeah, the vignetting looks good. Since she is backlit, we're gonna pull these shadows up a bit and then just hit it with some exposure, just a tad. Ta-da! Beautiful. Great photo. Pick time ought to give you something for plugging them. They do give me a little something. Yeah, the biggest thing is so I'm sure y'all noticed I have a lot of sponsors, but again, I'm the sole income provider for my household and we have like 3 kids. And on top of that, I don't sponsor with things that I don't use, you know? So like, I've only been on YouTube now for like 2.5 years. All the stuff that I ever talk about or sponsor, I've been using, you know? Like, oh, here's another YouTuber with a Squarespace sponsorship. Bro, I worked at Squarespace for 5 years. Like, I literally, it's on my resume. I worked at Squarespace. So, like, if I'm building a website for myself, I'm using Squarespace. I like the system. I know it from the inside out. So I'm okay to sponsor that because I literally use it. Same with Honeybook, same with PickTime. Like, I used Honeybook like 7 years before I even started YouTube. I used PickTime for like 2 years before I even started YouTube. This is a great shot. This looks good. This is awesome. Beautiful. Let's go over my whole export settings, because people always ask about that. So again, in my photos, I don't do sharpening in Lightroom. So I turn all that down. And so when I export, I have everything open up in exposure. So exposure is another program. The grain in exposure is hands down some of the best I've seen from a digital product. it really has that film look to it. So I'm gonna throw this in my YouTube folder. We're gonna put it in a folder, we'll call it April. So when I'm exporting a photo for my clients, JPEG 100% quality, sRGB. Image resizing, I do not resize it, I just do the full size. Resolution is 300, that's so that they can print the photos or they can order prints from me. Screen sharpening is low because again, I have no sharpening on my photo at all. And then after that, it opens up in exposure. So here goes the export. What was your job at Squarespace? I was a team lead in customer service. So I led a group of 10 advisors. So the people who answer you in live chat or answer your emails when you need help with something. So I led a team of them. I started out as a customer service rep and did that for 2-ish years. And then I was a team lead for about 3. I'm late too. Hello from Rome. Bought your Fuji. I bought Fuji because I saw your videos years ago. Awesome. What's the difference between Honeybook and PicTime? So PicTime is mainly for delivering photos and for your clients to be able to buy photos. Honeybook is for you to be able to send them contracts and send them emails and manage all of your different clients and couples. So here's this picture. This is no sharpening export, just the screen sharpening. And then I have my sharpening and grain preset. As you can see, it adds a little bit of contrast and sharpening and grain. And it's always hard to see over the stream, I'm sure, but this is the before and the after. So it's sharpened pretty hard and there's some grain in there. That's how my photos, I get them so like crispy. I do it in a different program and I sharpen at the JPEG stage, not on the RAW. I don't know, it's so crispy, just look at the flowers. Here's the before. Here's the after, just so much crispier. John, I struggle to add exposure at export stage. Can you show me how to add it? Add exposure? Oh, you're talking about to open up in a different program? So when you're exporting, you go down to the bottom. So it'll say post-processing. So it says, what do you want to do after export? You want to choose open in other application, and then you choose the program you want it to open in. So basically I'm telling it to, hey, export this as a JPEG and then open that JPEG in exposure. I think this is a JPEG. Oh no, it's not. I feel like this needs to be straightened. CR2, so we're working with good old Canon. And it's way too green. Let's bring that magenta back a bit and warm it up. I think the focus is off. I can't tell. That was my first job. I'm 19-year-old with my old Canon 60D. Awesome. Great job. Yeah, I think the focus might be a bit off. Or your shutter speed's good. Yeah, it might be the focus. Because see, this is really in focus. It's hard to tell. There we are. This is beautiful. Great shot. So they're backlit a bit. So I already know, just looking at it, that I'm gonna want to deal with the shadows. And for a shot like this, because I don't want to pull the shadows out of everything, what I'm probably going to do is we're going to paint on some shadow save. And what I'll do with shadow save a lot of times is I'll turn it up too much. just so it's easier to see. And then from there, I'll make any adjustments I want to make. Yeah, cheap lens 50 f1.8. Yeah, especially, and that's what I keep talking about. It's not even the lens. It's more so just understanding the limits of the lens. Like, you know, you might want to stop down on it just a little bit when you use it if you know it's a cheaper lens. Obviously, having the best quality always is helpful, but just knowing the limits of your gear also is a big help. So we're painting on shadow safe, and I'm gonna turn it up even more. And then from there we can do our exposure. We don't want the shadows to be too high because then it'll feel fake. There we go. Here's our before and after. Here's Chianti again. This shot is pretty overexposed, but it's probably okay. Yeah, that exposure is hot. We're on CR3, so that's also an EOS R. I'm gonna pull this back some. We're gonna warm it up. Man, these fall time colors are always, they test your soul as far as white balance is concerned. Cause yeah, I feel like she looks totally different. Have you ever took photos at an Indian wedding? Because Indian weddings are lit. I took photos at a hybrid Indian wedding. Because the groom was Indian and his bride was Brazilian. Brazilian Jewish, so they did two different ceremonies. So not a full-blown Indian wedding. I want to, but I've never been able to book one. It's like, again, and I talked about it before, it's hard to book stuff that you don't have in your portfolio. So again, if you like only book ballroom weddings and you don't like ballroom weddings, you should take the ballroom weddings off of your website. Because if not, you're just gonna keep booking them. So we're gonna cool her down, but keep the warmth of everything else, so we can even warm it up more so that she's not looking too cool. I don't know what that is, but it's irking me. Oh. Lightroom. There we go. There we go. We did it. We did it. Great job. Excited to take pictures, but unfortunately my lens is somehow killing my camera's focus. Oh goodness. Well, make sure, keep in mind to stop down sometimes too. Shooting all the way wide open doesn't always help. I'm second at Quinceañera this weekend, and I'm absolutely looking forward. That's gonna be awesome. That sounds fun. Beth and I are over here nodding about booking what you show. People don't get it. Because that's the thing, like, I see so many photographers who be mad about, so, oh, all I ever get are these lame. Just, no, then don't show it. You know, like, you don't have to show everything on your site. You don't. So this shot right here, when I first saw it, this was black and white. This is a definite black and white shot. Thoughts on the M1 Apple MacBook Pro 13-inch? I just got it last weekend. So I haven't used the MacBook Pros per se, but I do have a I do have an M1 Mac Mini. And that thing was surprising. I actually, that engagement session behind the scenes, I edited that whole video on the M1 Mac Mini, and I was surprised. Final Cut was just like, okay, let's do it. It's fine. And I was like, this is crazy. You should come to the Bahamas. I want to, though. Apparently, there's an online scheduling software called PickTime for photographers, and a different company called PickTime. Oh, I've never heard of PickTime. PickTime, like you pick your time. Yeah, yeah. I'm talking about PickTime as in photos. I'm saving up the book with you. Are you going to review the new M1 iMacs? I'm not. I could have though. My wife wanted one. I'm gonna buy it right now. No. I am going to review the M1 iPad Pro though. They announced that thing. I was hyped, y'all. I wasn't even expecting that at all. I was like, oh yeah, they'll probably upgrade the iPad. It'll be cool. And they're like, we put the M1 in it. I'm like, why? What are y'all doing? It's amazingly fast. Yeah, them M1s kick. They are so fast. Beautiful shot. This is also RAF with a good old 35 f2. Good old Fuji. Crop that in just a bit. The M1 MacBook Pro is awesome. I picked up the 16 gig. Yeah, I have the Mac Mini with 8 gigs in it, and that thing still flies. I'm always surprised at how well them things perform. But I mean, it makes sense because it's like, it's their own system. So obviously they can make it perform as best as possible. But yeah, if they drop like a 27-inch iMac, maybe. I'd love to get to a point where I could just review stuff, but again, while I'm having great success on YouTube, I'm not that big yet. Like a lot of the stuff you do see on the channel, I'm still buying with my own money. I know it looks like I just get all this stuff for free, but I really don't. I just spend all my money. Here's good old CR3. So another EOS Canon camera. Great shot. This is so this immediately already, I know that they're backlit too much. So first off, everything's too orange, or I'm sorry, it's too cool. So we're gonna warm it up a bit, and I'm gonna go in and we're gonna paint some shadow save again. Got my first wedding in about 20 days. I'm 20 and I have no second. Any tips? Definitely go and check out my full wedding day behind the scenes videos. And if you haven't yet, you should always write a timeline for your couple on how you're gonna be running the day. The reason this is, especially when you're shooting a wedding by yourself, is that you need to be able to clock out time for taking the groom's photos and then the bride's photos separately. You can't do them both at the same time, so you have to, you know, take the time you need for that. Other than that, just stay in control of the day. You know, don't let the wedding day run you. That's how things fall apart. You need to be like, this is what we're gonna do. Because I shoot a majority of my weddings by myself. I usually don't have a second with me. So seconds aren't like a necessity of life, you know? You can get by without a second. Especially if everything's contained in the same place. Like they're getting married at a hotel and they're both getting ready at the hotel. It's very easy to do that by yourself. Here's the before and after there. You see how that shadow save? I just put a little bit on them, but it helped bring them out a bit rather than trying to lighten their skin or anything of that sort. John, you made black and white of the bride The room was so dark I had to use flash and took my Canon flash and shot XT2. Had to make it work. Yep. I think that was it dark in there? That room looked like it was fine. Was there a window? Well, first off, you did a great job. This doesn't look like it was flashed at all. I thought there was a window in there. Yeah, no, that's good. Brazil in the house. Hey, thanks for editing my photo. You're welcome. Why is this thing freaking out? Would you take the iPad Pro 2021 for editing? Can't decide. Or 2020 would be enough. I'm very intrigued by the XDR display on the iPad Pro. I think that's really going to make a big difference on the iPad Pro, but we'll have to see. I'm curious how it'll handle colors and stuff too. There you go with some white balance just a bit. Here's our before and after. There we go. Looks good. I like it. Actually, I might be able to turn the shadows down some so this, yeah, stays darker. I don't have a, but yeah, you should be able to edit on an iPad by itself. Like iPad can handle it, definitely. Yeah, the brushes are nice. They're just like automated brushes. You could technically make them yourself. It's really just, you know, different versions of changes you can make. So it just makes it quicker or easier. It's not something that you couldn't do yourself. This looks like the same session. Great shot. This is my I call it the sidewall bokeh shot. The only thing that would have made this shot better is getting them closer together. Whenever you have your couples in a chest to chest position, you want them to be close. Like you don't want this space like that, because then you see how he's like leaning over kind of weird. That's mainly just because they're not close. Her leg could have still been out and he could have been behind her just a little bit, or you know, away from us in the photo. But yeah, that's why a lot of times I'll joke with my couple and I'll say chest to chest, or I'll say navel to navel, you know, if y'all want to really get close. Like, ha, 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 ha. You know. But yeah, these were great shots. This is the same photographer here for these two. I have my first engagement shoot this Sunday. Any tips on how to handle those? Pretty much go back and watch my 10 favorite poses shot. Yeah, the 10 favorite poses video. And just honestly copy a bunch of those poses and you'll be good to go. What is this, an XT3 or 2 XT3? With a good old 56. Great shot. Good focus. Looking great. Your preset saved me on my first wedding. Awesome. Great for low light. Awesome. Awesome. Just picked up the presets. Love you for everything you do. Thank you so much. Y'all, too much love. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Good old 23F2. So this is what I was talking about with the highlights. So like if I wanted these lights to like shine out more, you could turn the highlights up. You see how they like shine more now? This was obviously taken with flash. It was pretty dark. So if you use it, you use a natural fields preset and it feels weird on a flash shot, turn the highlights up some and let the highlights kind of shine through rather than just doing it through exposure. Everything is blowing on my end on my TV. Is it too loud or is it too bright? Thanks for the knowledge, John. It's really helped me understand photography. Awesome. One thing I struggle with is posing. Do you think it's a good idea to, on the session, to have posing examples on your phone? It does help. If you need it, if you feel so uncomfortable that you're not gonna be able to do posing at all, I would definitely say have something on your phone. I actually was supposed to do a video for this app called Unscripted, which I slacked on mad hard and haven't done yet. And they're probably mad. They're probably watching this live stream right now like, bro, why haven't you made the video yet? But Unscripted is basically, yeah, it's an app, if y'all can kind of see it there, and it has posing stuff like built into it. So you can go through poses and prompts and stuff. You should definitely check it out. Let's see. Where are the poses? So you see it has all this, like, all these built-in poses and stuff. And so you can just go through and figure out what you want to use and stuff. So yeah, if you need something, do that. Or something I'll do sometimes too is I'll jump on Instagram and just look at other people's shots. And if there's any poses that I find like absolutely dope, then I'll save them. You know how you can save photos in Instagram and just have like, you know, a collection of photos that I've seen on Instagram that I like the pose, and I kind of use them as inspiration. You should do it more often. Yeah, I love these live streams. Once a month is good though. Here's some oh, I think Shay, I don't know if they're still in the chat. I copied your 10 poses past Saturday, and one pose I got 5 different angles and a couple of it. Yeah, and that's the thing with those 10 poses, that's how they work. You can literally take one type of pose and turn it into like 2 to 3 poses real quick. And the couple will feel like they're doing a whole bunch of stuff. They're really not doing anything. You're like, okay, chest to chest, head on the chest, heads together, nose together, kiss, look this way. Boom. That was like 6, 7 different poses, but really they're just chest to chest, you know? So, you know, use that kind of thing to help you through an engagement session too. CR2, this is a Mark. Yep, 6D Mark II. So this looks like it's on the coast at golden hour. For me, it's too orange. So trying to control that is always the fun part, especially when it's direct sunlight. Everything is fuzzy on my end on my TV. I think I'm streaming at 1080p. So make sure I used to stream at 1440, which I need to start doing again, just to make sure that everything is like as crisp as it can be. But it might be a buffering issue too. Wow, thanks for the app tip. I use Pinterest for poses. Yep, that's a good one too. Do you think contracts are important for photography? If so, why? Yes, always. Do not ever take someone's money without a contract. Don't ever do it. Do not do it. So contracts, the biggest thing to think about with contracts is you don't even have to make it very super business. Like even if you just wrote on a sheet of paper, I am going to take your photos and give them to you and have them sign it. That's the point of a contract. It's binding in writing the terms of your session. And the reason why it's important, especially for photography, is because photography and art is subjective. So someone, and it's happened to me personally, You can take photos for someone and they can just be like, I don't like your photos. And it's like, well, you hired me. You saw my work. I don't like your photos. And if you don't have a contract, you can't defend yourself. Because technically, because art is subjective, they can say, I don't like your photos. And that's okay. They can do that. But if I have a contract that says, we're shooting a 1 hour session, I'm going to give you about 50 photos. I'm going to edit them the way that I normally edit my photos, which you've seen on my website. And you do all of that. Even if they don't like it, you can still be like, well, I did what you wanted and it's on par with everything I've already done. So you paid to work with me. You saw what my work looked like. So to come out the gate now and say you don't like it, I'm sorry. I do what I always do. So yeah, always, 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 always have contracts. Because if not, they will take you to court and be like, I don't like it. And you won't be able to defend anything because you're like, well, I took the pictures. I mean, really, they could claim whatever they want to. Really, they could be like, oh, he didn't shoot the session as long as I wanted to. Oh, he didn't take enough photos of this, that, or other. No, that's not true. I have a contract right here. This is what you got. This is what you signed up for. So yeah, always, 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 always have a contract. Always, always. Here's Shay again. Beautiful shot. Good blue hour shot. So you see, this is too cool. So we warm it up based on skin tone. That feels good. Pull them shadows. Thank you so much for the stream. I just subbed. Thank you for that sub. Oh, Christina. I want to do something for you, Christina, because really, like, you're always in my streams. Always in the streams. Like, I feel like if I streamed and no one showed up, you would be there. This is a great shot. I want to export this and see what it looks like. Yeah, this is a gorgeous shot. Ah, but I was enthusiastically agreeing. Yeah, Streamlabs was like, hey, stop that. Yeah, I gotta start going through and giving people like special privileges. Like, Mark, you're cool. You know, I can let you do all caps. Now some other people be in here doing craziness. I'm glad you mentioned quantity. Is there a set number of images that you give your clients per session? I know it depends on your package. Yeah, I don't have a specific like number of photos. I usually give everyone an average, and that's like per my contract. It's like average, you're gonna get this, versus saying like you're gonna get exactly this amount of photos. So for an engagement session, I do usually say about average 50 photos or so, 65. I tend to give my couples like 100 or more sometimes on engagement sessions, but again, that's something you set up, and if you have a contract, you can make it whatever you want it to be. Yeah, this is a great shot. Put that sharpening and grain on it. Boom. Crispy. Awesome shot. Good stuff, Shay. Is that Christmas music? It is. It's just in the playlist. It's like summertime, Christmas music. Oh, by the way, how do you edit orange skin? In Rome, everything seems orange. Yeah, for orange skin, I usually go down to the HSL and turn down the orange and saturation, and then kind of play with white balance. That's the biggest thing. I've been here 20 minutes and I love it. Awesome. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for joining. This is a Nikon shot. Beautiful shot. I want to crop in on them a little bit just because those cars in the back are annoying. And I know they're still there, but cropping in kind of helps it a little bit. I'm going to shadow save or just shadows up a bit. And that feels good. I thought it was, everyone's like, what is this? Is that Christmas music? Here's our before and after. Oh no! You all with the super chats. Thank you so much. Thank you for all you've taught me. Been a subscriber for a while. Awesome. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. When you're sharing your sharpening preset, when are you sharing? So I have it basically set up and ready. I just need to get it out there. I honestly, my holdup is I almost want to just make the natural fills preset in exposure and just have the whole thing with the sharpening and grain on it. But that's hard. Getting those colors to match right in different programs is the worst. Here is Stephen JP again. This was from a wedding. I wonder if Otto will, I don't like that. This again, we're gonna pull up these shadows. Here's our before and after. This shot actually might be cool in 16:9. I try not to crop too often in 16:9 just because, you know, like no one prints their photo in 16:9. So it's like an unusable aspect ratio for most photos. I love your behind the scene wedding videos. Y'all, I'm working on this, the full wedding day. I got another full wedding day coming up. I'm only 20 minutes into the video so far, but it's gonna be good. It is good stuff. Had to join on my phone and work computer. Can't comment on the work one. Sorry, but I have to go now. Have a great one. Thanks for hanging out in the stream. Hope you enjoyed it. Got some more Neff, good old Nikon. Let's see how this looks. This is that direct sunlight. I think that looks pretty good. This angle's weird, but this is one of those like you were probably a second photographer. That's what this looks like. Like I was a second photographer shot. Here's our before and after. This is so much fun to watch. Awesome. I'm glad you all are enjoying it. I might be able to warm that up a bit actually. I like it where it's at though. Wish there was a natural fills preset in Capture One. It's coming soon. I'm still working on it. Still working on it. Is this the same photographer? It is. Great shot. You see this is super blue, so we're gonna warm this up. Again, paying attention to skin tones. This exposure can come down. Oh. This needs to change. Y'all, what are y'all doing? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the super chatting. Superhero chatting, super chats. Yeah. Oh, you know what? This is another one of those. Let's break out that graduated, ooh. Trying to straighten out this horizon a little bit. What are some tips for a second photographer at a wedding? I don't want to step on the primary photographer's toes. So I'm probably gonna make a video about this, but let me hit y'all off with a couple of tips to start out. So as a second, again, your main job is not to build your portfolio. It is to support the main. The biggest thing you want to always be doing is trying to stay ahead of things that the main photographer might need. And taking photos of things that the main photographer might not have a chance to take photos of. So you know, go into a room and start taking all the detail shots. Like, start out with that. If there's water bottles somewhere and it's been like most of the day and they haven't had water, go grab them a water bottle. You know, just little stuff like that. If they need their bag carried, like, ask them if they want you to carry it. Just a bunch of stuff like that. That's the main stuff that really stands out. And then also taking the photos that they need and ask for. Even if you just want to be on top of them, asking like every 5 seconds, like, hey, do you need this? Do you want that? Can I do this? Can I do, like, just really on it all the time, rather than just kind of sitting back and then getting in their way for photos. That's probably the main tips. But like I said, again, I could go in to more. Here's our before and after. Got this sky saved a bit. I put a graduated filter to help out and save that sky. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna make a video about tips for being a second photographer. How do you bring that red for the clipping? That's these triangles in your histogram. If you click on them, one's for your shadows and one's for your highlights, and it'll show the clipping for you. I just bought your preset pack. I appreciate you making them affordable for other creators. Awesome. Glad you enjoy it. Let's keep going. I think this is the same. Is this the same photographer? No. This is someone else. So obviously, it's not always the best situation, but I would have not shot this backlit. But the real question is, what was behind them if you were shooting the other direction? It's hard to tell sometimes, so. Actually, auto might work better, yeah. Do you ever go to WPPI? I went in like 2018 or 16 or somewhere in there. I'd like to go again. I was just actually looking at it. They're doing it this August. But yeah, I would love to do like a photo walk or a photo shoot or something at WPPI with like a bunch of people who go and they can sign up or something. We'll see. But this year it might be a toss-up. We'll see what happens. Thanks for the tips. First wedding tomorrow and I'm second. Awesome. Yeah, just always be ready to help out your main photographer. That's the biggest. Yeah, this is the main reason everyone's always like, oh, backlight. I don't like backlight. I don't. It's just not. So see, what's happening here is like I'm trying to brighten them up, but he looks rough because there's no detail in the shadows. That stuff was lost because he was so underexposed. So if anything, you should have shot this exposed for the couple or just kept them silhouetted, like make it a black and white or something. And just like pull those shadows down. And just keep them silhouetted. That might be cool. Or like this and you can kind of see them. This is the same photographer, same wedding, I'm assuming. I'm gonna crop in just a bit. I like the weight of everyone in the photo to feel about the same. There we go. It's awesome. This looks like a great wedding. Did I straighten this? Can this be straightened? There we go. The first will often share their expectations, yep, and where they will be and want to be. From there, it's about getting all the shots and the detail moments, yep. Good evening from Cyprus. Hello, hello. Oh my God, photo walk. I will live. I live in Vegas. Oh, it's online this year? Oh, I thought they were gonna do it in person. Yeah, that is sad. Use the J key for clipping. That's probably correct. I'm the worst with Lightroom key commands. I only know a couple. Like really, I only know a handful. This is a beautiful shot. I love the framing here with this other tree. Great job. This is Fuji. Let's see XT4. With the 56, which never fails. Gonna cool that down a bit. Is that the, oh yeah. Don't want to cool it down too much though. Yeah, this is a beautiful shot. Great framing. I loved it. Good shot. This is good stuff. How can I see the before and after with one key of the keyboard? I can't remember. I'm the worst with key commands. Hello, John. That red dress photo was shot by me. Awesome. I love your videos. I love your work. Literally wait for a new video to show up. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is a gorgeous shot. If anything, actually, what I want to do. So I always love my greens to be cool like that. And I feel they're about where I like it, but she's starting to lose like the warmth of her skin. Also, this stuff in the front's kind of getting a little too blue. Actually, no, I was gonna paint in warmth on her, but I don't know. I don't feel like it's. Let's see. Let's warm her up just a little bit. I couldn't see the overlay because the dress is red. I was like, wait, what happened? Did I paint on my overlays? Yes, you did. They were there the whole time. Great job. Yeah, just warm her up just a tad. We can actually. Shadow save just a bit. Turn the orange down just a tad. There we go. It's still kind of overall too blue. I don't know. Sometimes I get a little too happy with my cool shots, but yeah, this is awesome. Beautiful shot. Before and after is why. Thank you. I also purchased your preset pack. Awesome. I won my 56 in a contest. Oh, nice. Oh, from Reggie? Oh, nice. Pick art is useful for editing. I've never heard of it. Do you have a video on shooting maternity sessions? I do not. I don't do maternity too much. I also don't feel like I pose them too well. So that's something I still personally am kind of like practicing on myself. And that's why a lot of times, like, you know, if it's not something that I personally shoot, I don't like to try and teach other people about it because I'm not going to act like I know everything in the world, you know? You know what, WPPI is open. I was thinking CES. Oh, yeah. Yeah, WPPI looked like it was going to be open this year. I go to all the tech shows. I mean, man, I'm jealous. I wish. I've never been to CES. That would be cool. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I can expense a trip to WPPI probably, so maybe sometime. Maybe I'll be out there sometime. This shot is way too blue. Also, I don't know if the focus is off or what. Something looks off. John, thanks for the MagSphere tips. It helped me with a wood ceiling. Had no brown cast on the photos. Yeah, that MagSphere is hands down one of the best modifiers I've ever used, really. Is this straight? It's still not straight, is it? I can't see the lines. Here's our before and after. Great walking shot. This is what I was talking about too with the legs. Like, I'm a big fan of being able to see the stride happening. Huge fan. Are you a professional or freelance photographer? Both. I don't know. I'm a professional. I don't know what sets anyone apart. I've been doing wedding photography now for 7 years, so I would consider myself a professional. Time to have more kids so you can practice maternity on the wife. Speaking of more kids, though, my wife actually is expecting again. I'm about to be 4 kids deep. It's too many. It's too many. What if we done? So actually, Mark, I can do that. Maybe I'll have a session. I'll make a video on maternity photos, and I'll use my wife as the model. Center this up. Your Streamlabs is mad at you, Mark. Yeah, this white balance. Gotta crank it. This is another one of those situations where I would have shot in Kelvin, so that the skin tones and everything looked right. What kind of flash do you use? I use Godox. I have a Godox V862, the Fuji version. Just hired our 4th as well. That's why I'm starting to use photography as extra income. Yeah. Gotta pay for all these little kids. So many. Great shot. Are these fake flowers? They are. They look great though. You can barely tell. Boom. There we go. Before and after. Oh, congrats. You sound like me. My husband wants 1 more kid. We already have 3. How do you balance being a photographer with kids and a growing family? So the biggest, and I've said this before, I've said this many times, the only reason I'm on here the way I am and I'm able to hold down as much as I can is thanks to my wife. Basically, when I even started photography, the whole plan was she wanted to stay at home with the kids, and that's when we first had our first kid. And I wanted to get another job to make sure we had more income, but she told me to start a business instead. And that's where I started taking photography more seriously. But she handles everything on the back end. So whenever I need to do photography work, oh, we got a fair bit to go. We'll be good though. Whenever I have photography work to do, you know, she holds down the house so that I'm able to. And then because now that I'm a full-time wedding photographer, full-time YouTuber, I have more free time too, that when I don't need to do as much, I can like cycle in and out and help out with like house tasks and different things of that sort. So we kind of tag team it together. But yeah, I would definitely not be doing as much as I am if it weren't for her, so. Let's warm this up. This is either XT4 and XT30. Let's go. I love my XT30. I'm probably gonna sell it though at some point, mainly because I'm trying to get that GFX 100. I'm so sad. Them things are hard to come by. Even like, I can't even ask Fuji. I'd be like, hey Fuji, can y'all send me a loaner for Tuesday? Like, they're hard to come by. You know, like, I just want to hold it. I just want to see what it feels like. Here's this before and after. I just picked up the Godox V1. Nice. I'm actually thinking, and I thought about it for a while, and I probably should just go ahead and buy them. I thought about getting some of the Godox 8200s. I usually don't do off-camera flash, but I might start trying it a little bit more. Yeah, buy 2 8200s and get the mag grid and just have it like 2 in the corners, and then have my V862s on my camera still lighting up and just kind of have light throwing around everywhere. I might try it. Here's another shot, same photographer, good old 56 on the XT30 to green. So this is another one where, since they're in so much shadow, I'm gonna hit them off with shadow save. You still recommend getting the mag mod even though the Godox V1 came with a kit? Yeah, the mag mod hands down is like my favorite modifier. Like really, any flash I own, I will put a mag sphere on it. No questions asked. Oh yeah, see, even that little bit of shadow save was like perfect. So now they're not in shadow as much. Shares our before and after. How many weddings do you usually do per year? It's fluctuated, but generally I sit around 20. I'm actually trying to take less so I can focus on YouTube. But yeah, 20. I have 20 this year. 20 is a good solid number. Wow, so inspirational. She sounds amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, even again, I've talked about it. This YouTube space is technically our master bedroom, but she believed in YouTube so much that she let me take it and turn it into a YouTube space. So this is an iPhone photo. I'm gonna straighten this up. I don't know how well natural fills will work on this, but we'll see, I guess. And that's as good as it's gonna get. But that works. iPhones have so much going on as far as what it's doing technology wise that, like, honestly, you don't really even need to edit those photos unless you shoot them in RAW or something. Big fan, sir. Give a shout out to me. Are editing with the Mac M1 Mini? No, this is my custom built PC. How to find the first clients for a wedding photo shoot? Honestly, you just kind of have to shoot a lot. Like, that's really it. I would say focus on engagement sessions. They're easier to get when you don't have a portfolio. And then if they like you enough, they might want to hire you for a wedding. But that's really the best approach. You can't just like out the gate be like, I do weddings. Like, no one's gonna hire you. Being a second photographer helps as well, because at least then you can get a little bit of a portfolio so you can show some work. Wow, this shot has so much going on. I don't know if this works. Just because, like, with the fountain and them spraying, like, you can't even really see what's happening. If it was just them together spraying, it would be a little bit more effective, because at least then you could see it. Right now, it's just like a bunch of stuff. But it's a cool photo. I do like it. Here's our before and after. Yeah, good old Hackintosh life. This is the Windows side. I usually do all my photo editing on the Windows side only because I'm still scared of my Hackintosh. And if it ever blows up on me, I want to still be able to be like, to get support on it or something. What is this actually a RAF? Yeah, I've never seen it not capitalized like that. Crop in a little bit more. Uh-oh, constrain crop. Bam. There we go. Here's our before and after. Friends and family events helped me a ton. When family would get engaged and kids' birthdays, all that great stuff. Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about it like that. Same photographer. So the main thing here for me, everything is just very green. And I've noticed that the X-T4, it's very green cast comparative to the rest of the Fuji cameras. Yeah, warmed that up a bit. Pull these oranges down a tad. If you're having a hard time finding clients, shooting a few wedding styled shoots can help. That's true. That's a good point as well. Yeah, styled shoots can, especially if the biggest thing with a styled shoot is to try your best not to make it look like a styled shoot, or at least some of the banger shots from it. Like, try your best to make it look like just wedding shots. Maybe like the shots you took of the couple together for their portraits or something. That's the biggest thing, because sometimes styled shoots be looking like styled shoots. They look too much like styled shoots. But it's good to have a combination of both types of photos. Photos that really help you out to just be like, look, I can do couple photos, and then some banger shots to be like, check out this styled shoot. Like, all of it works out together. CR3, beautiful shot. And yeah, the white balance is all over the place. So sometimes what I'll do, if I don't feel like dealing with it, is I'll just do auto white balance. But sometimes auto doesn't leave it where I want it to. So like for me, I want a little more magenta and it's too warm. Just a tiny bit too warm. We can pull those shadows up a bit. Do you charge per hour or per wedding? And how much do you ask? Well, so when you're figuring out, actually, you know what? It was warm enough. When you're figuring out your prices, here's the before and after. You should be figuring out your hourly rate in the first place. So there's not really a difference between saying, do you charge hourly or per wedding? When you figure your pricing out, you should have figured it out from an hourly place. So what I usually do is sit down and, you tell yourself, okay, how much do I want to be paid hourly? And then you figure out a price for that, and that's built into the price for the wedding. Then also for all of your other services that you're also adding to the wedding package, you should price out for all that, and that's where you get your final price from. Then from that, you could backtrack and subtract how much you have to pay for certain things. So for instance, my wedding packages come with an album, so I know how much the albums cost. So from the main price I'm getting paid, how much do I have to pay out of that, so that at the end of it all, I know how much I'm getting paid. So it's less of an hour thing and more of I know what the hourly is, and then I also have a rate for if the couple needs to add more hours or something. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, Mark is over here. He's also a great videographer. His wife is a photographer. Their business is awesome. He's in there kicking truth too. So this was basically the same location, so I should be able to just select it and sync the settings, and it should look good. It's too warm. So first off, I'm gonna center her up a bit more. And we can cool it down a bit. You can always, if you do this RA, you can always, compare like this. So you can kind of keep it the same. Oh, I'm not even doing anything. I'm like, oh, nothing's changing. There, so now the shots look about the same. What is the average album price for the album that you sell? I'm trying to figure out a good album prices. So mine is written into my package, so I can't remember offhand how much it costs, but I use this company called Red Tree Albums. Their albums are awesome, and I like the company a lot too because they only sell to like legitimate working photographers. So if you come to the website redtreealbums.com, you can't just buy albums. You have to actually like register yourself with them so that they know that you're a photographer. But in here they have really awesome albums, but they are a bit pricey. So you have to you have to mark up the price to a place that's not too crazy for your couples, but reasonable so that you're making a decent amount of money as well. But yeah, their albums are beautiful. Really good. And they come in leather and fabric, all these different colors. They're so good. I followed your advice to use PicTime. Love it so far. Awesome. Yeah, PicTime is great. PicTime is really good. Yo, I was looking at this shot when I usually go through all the photos just to see if anyone submitted anything like too raunchy for the stream. This shot is great. It looks good. And it's the 35 f2 on an XT4. I almost don't even want to edit this. Like, it's just so clean. Was there a flash used in this? Must have been a flash, right? Such a clean photo. Great stuff. Hey John, this photo also shot by me. Awesome. Yeah, this is a great set. Your work is great. Good stuff. Like, really, I almost don't want to edit it. Like the reflection used. Yep, the reflection was awesome. White balance. White balance. White balance. The red dish photo, you had flash. Awesome. Have a family portrait session coming up. Any tips? Just have fun with family sessions. Family sessions can be a little rough, especially sometimes the kids just don't. That's why I don't do family anymore. Because I found the kids either love you or they hate you. And if they hate you, it's the worst. Like, the session literally will be the worst. Other than that, I don't really have any tips. I really don't. You know, have fun with the session. Take a couple of standard shots with, you know, the family all together. And then if there are kids, you know, let the kids run around a little bit. Okay, I can't with the Christmas music. It's not Christmas. We're not there yet. Oh, beautiful shot. Great work. Here we go with some Nikon. Agreed on the Christmas chance. Kids me a lot like groomsmen. Oh my god, groomsmen sometimes. Oh, I had a wedding where the groomsmen got sloshed, like just totally wrecked, but we still had to do portraits. And I mean, he was so drunk, like the bride was mad because she was just like, I want to take these photos, can we take the photos? And he was like, How do you get this angle? I like their faces and reflection. Yeah, that was like a low down to the ground kind of shot off the hip. I like how relaxed you are while you're shooting. Should I make a shot list? Because I hate shot lists. The only reason I don't like shot lists though is because I feel like it takes the creativity away from it. But again, my approach with photography, not that it's different, but I think because, you know, I'm a musician first. I went to school for music. I play saxophone. I've played jazz. A lot of jazz is improvisation. So having to come up with something kind of out of the blue and deal with kind of the unknown it's kind of a safe space for me. Like, I like it. I enjoy it. So because of that whole like not knowing what's going to happen, I kind of thrive in. That doesn't work for everyone. So if you need a shot list, you know, definitely make one. But I hate shot lists because it boxes me in too much rather than letting me just kind of do what I do based off of what I see when I see it. So this is another shot. You remember what I was talking about with the highlights? So I could do this, but since we have, it looks like direct light coming out of a window or something, I could also pull the highlights up and not just depend on exposure alone. There's our before and after of that. Got my first wedding coming up in 3 weeks. I've just been binge watching BTS. Not copying his workflow per se, but it's giving me an idea. Yeah, and that's kind of the point too of the videos. It's less of like, this is the only way to do a wedding, and more so just, you know, this is kind of how I handle it. Take it and figure out what works best for you. And that's how everything should be, you know? When you're learning something, what was this, XT3? It was. When you're learning something, like, take parts of things that you like and then kind of apply your own thing to it. Because nothing's ever going to work out exactly the same for everybody. I've never been a huge fan of like this is the only way it works mentality. So this shot is direct light. Let me pull these shadows up so there's not so much hard shadows. Pull the oranges down a little bit. So before and after. 100% let the kids do their thing. I have scrunched. I have a scrunch I make. Oh, like a scrunchie. A little Elmo. It helps a lot if you examine their natural chemistry. Play off of how they interact naturally. Yep, exactly. Yeah, take your couple of group family shots and then from there start working on letting the kids run around and just kind of take photos as they do things. So this shot to me is more ideal, being in the shadows rather than direct light. Because again, your results just end up being much better. That direct light just be harsh. Here's our before and after of this one. And then let's compare real quick just so we can see. Yeah, the direct lighting it just makes such a difference. Shadows, and this is why like whenever I do shoots, especially outside and you're using natural light, always try and find shadow. Also too, shade is always nice. But yeah, it just gives you a much cleaner, nicer, flat light. And sometimes, you know, you want more dramatic light, but I wouldn't do it straight on. For more dramatic light, you want something like side lighting, dramatic, or something crazy like that. If you just want like a nice portrait, flat light. Okay, I think it's about that time. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna hit y'all off with a BRB, and I will be right back. All right. Back at it. We're on the home stretch now. CR3, some more EOS action. Looking too green. Yep. Awesome. Yeah, these are some great shots. I'm surprised there haven't been too many like black and white photos. Straighten this up just a little bit. RAW or JPEG? Why? RAW always, depending. Mainly because you can edit it more. And mainly RAW if you want to edit. If you don't want to edit, then JPEG all day. But if you're looking to be able to edit and have more control over your photo, then RAW. So this is too blue. So we warmed it up a bit. This is a cool shot. Love the perspective. This might be cool in black and white too. Here, let's make a black and white version. Here, let's see what this one looks like fully finished with my black and white grain and sharpening. John, sorry for a specific question on your settings, but do you shoot cloudy for white balance everywhere? No, I usually shoot auto white balance unless the white balance in the camera looks too blue. Then I'll start adjusting. So if it is a cloudy day, I'll look at what cloudy looks like, and if it looks good to me, then I'll use it. If it doesn't look good, then I'll just do Kelvin and do it that way. But basically, it needs to look good in camera. So I added my black and white grain and sharpening here. For my black and whites, I like them super grainy. This is before, as you can see, no grain at all. Keep my black and whites looking extra grainy, almost like film. Great shot, cool perspective. I feel like Julia had another photo in here. Maybe I'm just crazy. Some more Canon goodness. So like this looks like it was shot in Kelvin. And because of that, like everything already looks great. At most, if anything, I can cool it down some. But you should always be shooting in camera for skin tones. Because even though you can change white balance in post, I don't know, stuff just isn't the same anymore if you didn't capture it correctly in the first place. So you're gonna want the skin tones to look good in camera first, which is how like you see me over here applying the preset and then making no changes, because it like this looks good already. My preset just gives it a little more oomph, and that's about it. So yeah, always make sure you're getting it right. That's the whole, everyone, oh, you just do it in post. That should never be the approach. Never depend on doing it in post. That's not the way to do it. These are great shots. I love this. Trying to get that horizon straight. Oh, but they look crooked. Guess they're on a hill. We're gonna crop it. Oh yeah, that's better. So this is a little too blue for my taste, so we're gonna be warming that up. They're also backlit. Oh, we need magenta. Yeah, I'm gonna add shadow save to them as well because they're backlit a little too much. How do you cull your photos fast? I use Photo Mechanic, the fastest way to cull. Always aim to get it as right as possible in camera. It is true. That should always be the case. And like, a lot of people might think, oh, well, you can just do it in post. People have been doing it in post forever. You got to look at like everything, even the movie industry. Okay, they were doing stuff in post for a long time and adding all this CG and stuff, and that stuff just didn't hold up well. And so what are they doing? Going back to practical effects, getting it right in camera. The more you can do practical, the better it looks, you know? So like, that's the goal, is to always get it good in camera. Trying to get this warmth where I want it. Because I also want to try and get it close to where this other photo was. This other photo was like super warm. Come on, Lightroom. There we go. I mean, that's about close right there, actually. Great job, I did it. You just want your photos to feel consistent. There shouldn't be one photo that's like mad warm and the other one's just like totally different for no reason whatsoever. Our editing flow is so similar. Awesome. Yeah, do not always depend on post. Yeah, it's just not, it's not the way. It really isn't. DNG. What camera is this? Nikon. So like, this is a case where I probably would have shot it in Kelvin. Just because everything is so blue. So like, generally you should never be having to make such drastic post changes. Like, you really shouldn't. Here's our before and after. What's your favorite focal length? I sit somewhere between 35 and 50, but I think 50 is usually my favorite. It's probably my go-to, the one I use the most. Fun shot. Same photographer. Add some magenta in there. I think that's good. And see, that's again because it was lit well. It just looked fine. Do you only edit in Lightroom? I tend to bounce between Affinity and Luminar for edits. I apply my sharpening and grain in exposure. But other than that, yeah, I do all my editing in Lightroom. Sometimes I'll jump into Photoshop, but that's only for specific stuff. If like Lightroom can't handle doing like spot dodging or something. Do you take deposits for your photo sessions? I do, always. Because people be flaky. And I found that if you want to stop people from being flaky, take their money and they will show up to their session. This is JPEG, so I'm not going to do much to it. That's probably good as it's going to get. But yeah, I've in the past had people just not show up to photo sessions, and I'm like, nope, never again. You're gonna give me your money first. And then if for some reason you can't show and we need to reschedule, that's fine. But I'm not gonna waste my time and show up and then have you just not show up. So I usually do between 30 and 40% down for any of my sessions or weddings. And then the rest of the payments come later. Here's a before and after. That was quick. This is a great shot. Same session. Actually, is this an XT3? It is. Let me go back and do this other photo. Yeah, because the white balance is a little different. Hey, Jesse in the house. Welcome to the stream. Throwing a little bit of shadow save on there since she is backlit. Oh, coffee and a pastry. Thank you so much. I could use a coffee right now. I'm like beat. Thank you. Thanks for hanging out as well. Yeah, I'm about to make a list of my norms because y'all be in here. I see y'all every time. Here's our before and after. Those are my photos. Awesome. These are great shots. Shooting with good old 50. I have a 90 and I never use it. I need to use it. Like I gotta start using it more. Oh man, this is a great shot, but it's a JPEG. I can't do anything with a JPEG. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't do anything with this. So much potential. Great shot though. Thanks for sharing. Here's our before and after. It's not much of a change because it's a JPEG. This is black and white. I can't edit this. Another JPEG. So I'll throw the preset on there, but can't do many changes. Cute shot though. Love the little setup. I feel like a real bum until I get a 50. You talking about focal length? Your favorite wedding photographer? Right now, my favorite wedding photographers has always been Fours in the North has been my favorite for a long time. I think I showed them off on one of my last streams. They've always been my favorite. They're awesome. And what's cool is I know them personally too, so. Here's Flame again. I think she submitted some photos last time. Great work. Beautiful work. Always. Your initials are JPEG. This would look great in black and white too, I think. Yeah, such a good shot. Good stuff. Here's another vote off. I wish we could do like actual polls or something in the chat. But I don't think I can. What do y'all think? Black or white or color? The 50 f1 you speak of. Oh yeah. That thing is beautiful. The 50 f1 is such a good lens. It's a tough call. I feel like each version of the photo has a place. You know what I mean? Because they're both equally as good. But yeah, the color probably stands. Also, the flowers are kind of showing in the photo too, so the color kind of stands out a little bit more. Yeah, they're both great. Yeah, I gotta actually. Let me export that black and white, or let's just export both of them, see what they look like with the sharpening and grain on them. Black and white for me on this one. Nice. The flowers need to shine. Yeah, there's just enough of them to add that little pop of color on the bottom. So you see, because I exported both at the same time, they both show up here in exposure, and then I can just add my preset on it. So this is just sharpening and grain, and I don't know if y'all can see it. It's hard to see. There's the tiniest bit of added contrast. It's like literally just a touch of contrast. Ugh, look how sharp that is. So good. I love my sharpening and grain preset. It's so good. Hi, John. I just joined. Oh, look at that timing. I literally just got to your photos. Such beautiful works. Great, great photo. Again, with sharpening and preset, the sharpening and grain preset, here's the before. I don't know how much y'all can see that, but yeah, there's definitely no grain whatsoever. And then here is the after. And then black and white, again, I like mine black and white, super grainy. Give it that film-esque aesthetic. Watching from India, hello, hello. So there's that black and white, super grainy. Here's the before. You're really making me want to get exposure. Yeah, I might try and make natural fills just in exposure, and if not, I'm definitely gonna release the sharpening and grain. I hope people understand what it is when they buy it, because I feel like people are gonna buy it and be like, I tried to use it on my photo and nothing happened. It's just sharp. It's literally only sharpening and grain. There's nothing else happening in the preset. Like, there's no color changing, nothing. It's just sharpening and grain. Yeah, beautiful work. Great stuff. Oh, this is a cool shot. I love a nice big wide just open. And since we got so much green going on, yeah, hit that magenta just a bit. Here's another case where I'm exposing for the couple. I'm gonna pull the shadows down a tad. We can use that graduated filter again. That's way too much. I like to make it extra so I can really see it, and then from there I can adjust. Keep those clouds nice and dark. There's our before and after. The sharpening just looks so good. Yeah, it really, and it's a JPEG stage thing too, so you could even if you're not using my preset, if you just like the sharpening and grain, you can use it. You can export your photo however you want to, and then throw it into exposure and sharpen and grain from there. This is a JPEG, so I can't do much with it. Y'all already know I don't like Dutch tilts. That's me. So I would straighten this. Now, obviously, if I constrain the crop, I lose a lot of the photo. If I really wanted to, Photoshop probably could save this. Y'all wanna try to see what Photoshop can do? Let's see. Also, this photo looks like it's already edited too, so it's like edits on top of edits. It's a little too much. Cause yeah, she definitely looks like her skin's been cleaned up a bit. Oh, I can't tell. So when I get a shot like this that I want to straighten, but I lose so much of the photo, but it looks savable, that's when magenta's too much. That's when I will take it to Photoshop. So when I'm done editing, right click, edit in Photoshop. We'll just edit the original. Technically, you should be doing edit a copy. Yeah, we'll edit a copy. Uh-oh. Did my camera give up? What's happening here? Just saw your edit on my images. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, beautiful images as always. I don't know what happened. My camera like froze for a second there. All right, so we're in Photoshop now. We can see this is where everything's missing. And it's honestly the easiest thing in the world. Just take your little lasso tool, go away. No, I don't want to discover. Just lasso that little area. Hit it off with some fill, content aware fill. Boom. Photoshop's crazy. It's so good. You mentioned that you shoot for 20-ish weddings a year. Does that cover your household income needs? Do you guys dual income? So yeah, we don't have dual income. And it does cover my needs, but that's only because of YouTube now. Before YouTube, I was trying to shoot more like 35 to 40, and it was still pretty tight. But yeah, YouTube makes up for only shooting 20 weddings a year. Y'all, Photoshop is getting ridiculous. And obviously some of it, like this one's easy. Oh, come on, Photoshop. You see how it brought that line in? You couldn't. Sometimes you still gotta do it the old-fashioned way. There you go. It's just always surprising to me how easily Photoshop's just like, oh, you want to fill that in? Bloop. This one is harder because there's not much information there. That looks a little wonky. I could always crop in on it some though. But now it's straight. Look at how much better that looks. Here, let's save that and compare it to when it wasn't straight. YouTube paying like that. I mean, yeah, it's pretty decent. That's half the reason why I'm taking so little weddings, is because YouTube's actually doing halfway decent. So okay, so here's the photo. Let's turn off the... Now let's compare. And honestly, like, I want y'all's honest opinion, because maybe I'm just crazy. So on the left is the straightened photo, and on the right is the Dutch tilt photo. And I mean, I get how Dutch tilt, it can be cool. It gives a little bit more, she's standing more straight in the photo comparative to everything that's happening. So I get how it's cool. I personally, I can't. I don't like Dutch tilt. I just don't. But again, not knocking anyone for doing it. That's just me personally. You had mentioned who your favorite photographer. Who was it again? Forged in the North. Let me get their site for you real quick. Right now, they are my favorites. And again, like I said, I personally know them. They're amazing. They got a team of photographers as well. But yeah, what do y'all think? Straightened? Dutch tilt? Am I wrong for not liking Dutch tilt? But yeah, Ryan and Heidi are like the main photographers. They're the ones who started it. They're also the ones I know personally. So if you go and look at some of their work, go under Ryan and Heidi and see what they got going on in there. I missed how you did that. Need to rewatch that portion doing lunch with kids. Yeah. Both has their place. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. I personally am not a big fan of Dutch tilting, but that's literally just me personally. So here's Forge in the North. And here's some of Ryan and Heidi's work. Again, they're the main photographers. But it's just so good. So they use tilt shift all the time. So I don't know if y'all can see. They use tilt shift lenses. I'm renting one right now. I have a tilt shift lens on me. Have it adapted on my X-T3. I have a wedding coming up. I might use it. I'm kind of scared to use it. It's manual focus, but maybe I'll wait till the portraits and use it for portraits. I don't know. Maybe I'll use it through the whole day. We'll see. Yep. All this tilt shift. So good. I've never shot a wedding with a manual focus lens, so that would be interesting. Here, let's see if we can get to the portraits. That's where the bangers are. Oh yeah, they tilt shifted this whole wedding. How cool. Oh, so good. Oh, so good. Ah, I love shots like this. Just like details. Yeah, they're half the reason why I even got my editing style to where it is. Because I would always look at their work and just be mad. Like, my stuff doesn't feel... You see, like, the feeling of their work? And I would always just be like, why? How can I get my stuff to feel like this? And that would always be my, like, dream of, like, trying to get my stuff to feel a certain way. Oh, here goes the first look. Even till this day, I still feel like I don't have that same feeling that they have going on in their photos. Oh, this tilt shift again. Yeah, maybe I will use the tilt shift. We'll see. The resolution feels pretty good on these photos. I wonder if this was their Canon work or if this is when they were shooting with Fuji. Oh, so good. Okay, I could sit here forever looking at their photos. You still waiting on the GFX 100S? I am. Those things are hard to come by. This is JPEG still again, so I'll just real quick. Great shot though. Have you done any vids on website SEO optimization? I have not, but that's a great subject. That is like the subject, and crop in on them a little bit. We'll do auto white balance. Yep, and that got us about where we need it. That's a fun shot. I actually want to bring it for like that. They're not afraid to cut off body parts. Yeah, there's a lot of photographers. That's sometimes depending on how you're shooting and your approach, I feel like being so concerned about cutting off certain body parts will, like, you know, it takes away from you just documenting the moment, because you're like, oh wait, gotta make sure that I take the photo exactly. Nothing's perfect. Nothing will follow the exact rules at all times. So I'm a fan of, like, you know, bending the rules a little bit, you know, for photos, for documentary photo's sake, for the feeling of the photo. So we added some magenta. This is actually exposed pretty hot. Warm it up a bit. This looked like it was late in the evening, so probably blue hours, so I need to warm it up a tad. This would probably look good in black and white too. Fun shot. Here's our before and after. More of a fashion style. Yeah. Heidi, she does fashion photography herself. So it spills over into their wedding work too. They seem that, yeah, they add grain to their photos. It has a very film-esque. I add grain to all my photos too. That's sometimes people are like, see, Fuji's bad. Look at all the grain. That's added grain. All my photos have added grain to them. You know, like. Are there autofocus tilt shift lenses? I don't believe so, actually. I think they're all, because there's just, you know, there's too much moving. Like the lens itself moves, so I don't think they could do autofocus. And I mean, with peaking on, it's pretty easy to catch focus pretty quick. So yeah, I might try it. I really might do it. Yeah, I might have to do it, y'all. Just shoot, because this is the 24 mil tilt shift from Canon, so 24 should put me at about 35 millimeters. Might be cool. Still waiting on the GFX 100 S2. It's like waiting on a Kickstarter. It does feel like a Kickstarter. Create virtual copy. The black and white. Yeah, I like the black and white, honestly. They're both pretty good. The color one's great. There's just a lot of good tones going on in the color one. Yeah, that's true. The Fuji peaking is pretty, yeah, it's like quick. You can really see it. Never done any type of editing. Where should I start with my photos? It's you. So editing, if you're new to editing, it can be a lot. The biggest thing is trying to get the colors the way you want them to look. So colors and exposure and stuff and white balance. I need to make a video because it's a longer, I can't just answer it real quick. I wish I could. So auto white balance made this a little too blue for my liking, so I want to warm it up just a tad. There we go. There we go. Let's pull these shadows down. There's our before and after. Unsure if asked already, have you done videos on melanin skin? I kind of have. I've taught a couple classes on it too, but I need to do more specific videos on it because that's always, it's a large topic and a lot of people don't edit melanin skin well. And that's, but I talk about it almost every stream. Like if you go through, and I wish there was an easier way for me to timestamp these live streams so y'all could go back and watch it in kind of an easier format, but it's kind of hard. Is this the same photographer? Great shot. And see, when you're in the shade, everything just kind of works. There's our before and after. Again, the shot was great in camera, so there wasn't much for me to do here. He has videos, shooting, editing, all types of skin. Yeah, the live streams help, but I do want to do a specific, like a video where I actually talk about it. It would be nice. It'd be helpful. But yeah, as far as white balance, again, I usually just use auto white balance unless the camera starts like trying to do something else. This is a clean shot. What is this? XT2. Look at that XT2 coming through. And that's it. Boom. Before and after. I know you use Kelvin. How do you manage keeping them the same on both cameras though? Oh yeah, that's a how do I manage? I mean, a lot of times I just base it off of how it looks. And that's the only time that I ever really use Kelvin. Again, if the white balance looks off, then in camera, I'm just going to try and switch it to something that looks good. And a lot of times I'll try and keep the cameras in the same kind of white balance mode. So if I'm not doing Kelvin, I'm switching it to shade or something. And I'll turn both cameras to shade. Because also the lens is going to make a difference too. This was blown out, so we pulling it down on the exposure. Crop in just a tad. There's our before and after. Which version of JPEG Mini are you using? I finally want to try it. I feel like I have an old version, but I have JPEG Mini Pro. I'm pretty sure this is like an old version. That's what it looks like. If y'all have never used JPEG Mini, you need to get up on that. It's awesome. Like, I can quickly... So all those pictures that I've exported so far during this stream... So yeah, you see I have the April folder here. If you want to save space on your photos, you can just take it and just... Boom. And then it's going to make the photos smaller without losing quality. And you see, that was quick. I do it sometimes on some of my weddings, and it's like ridiculous the amount of space I save. I don't think I have anything. Let me see if I did it for this one. Oh yeah, I did it already. Thanks for answering my question. You're welcome. Did I do this? Yeah, I probably did all these. But yeah, it's good stuff. JPEG Mini is worth it too. It saves you so much space. This is the same shot except the exposure was much better. So we'll sync, but what's gonna happen is the next photo is gonna be too dark. Yeah, so we just have to bring the exposure back a little bit. Straighten it out. I wanted it to go that way, actually. And crop in. So here's this set together. And that's generally, you want your photos to feel very much the same while you're editing them. Have you tried Aftershoot for culling? I've never heard of it before, actually. Beautiful shots, great job. Oh, there's still one more. Is this black and white? It might be. Here, let's do a color version first, though. Yeah, I think this is black and white. It's feeling like it might be. It's hard to tell. That's a close call. That's a close call. Can you link the exposure software? Yes. Let me find it for y'all. I think they're on Exposure X6 is the newest version. Yeah. Here's exposure. It's great. So the things that I use exposure for, let me show y'all real quick. I think there was this photo would probably work. So I'll export this photo real quick. Cause honestly, like, I have a whole program. I barely use exposure. Like, really. I use it, but I barely use it. But the main things I use it for, again, is I use it for my sharpening and grain. So I have that preset set on there already. And then also for some of my wider shots, they have a fake tilt shift built into it. So you see there's this option called bokeh. So I can go in there. And what I can do is basically fake tilt shift. And so the lines are telling me where the unfocused section is. And I can kind of pull that out. Oops. Like this. And usually I like the blur to be like right at the edge. Sometimes too, I think you can angle it. Yeah, angling it sometimes helps a little bit too, because tilt shift's never going to be in a perfect straight line like that. So that's something else I'll use it as well to give kind of that fake tilt shift kind of look to the photo. So I'm kind of interested to actually use a tilt shift lens and see how this fake tilt shift kind of compares to it. But that's literally the only thing I use exposure for, adding fake tilt shift and sharpening in grain. But it's a great program. It's actually really nice. How would you start second shooting for weddings if you only really have experience in portraits? I mean, experience in portraits is good enough, because the biggest thing with a second shooter, if you can take good photos, that's all you need. The main photographer is not going to expect more from you than that. You know, you'll be learning more after that. Okay. No more JPEGs. I'm gonna, because I think there's a fair amount actually. Yeah, all these are JPEGs. What happened, y'all? I even put in the direction to add raw files. So many JPEGs. How are these all JPEGs? Are they really all JPEGs? There's doubles. They really are all JPEGs. Yeah, I'm not gonna edit these. I'm sorry, y'all. JPEGs just, they're not doing it. JPEGs aren't the way. It's not even that. It's more so just that the preset's not really gonna shine on the JPEGs. It works, but it's just not ideal whatsoever. Look at these shots, y'all. So good, actually. What if I pull this white balance back a bit? Yeah. Yeah. This shot is so good. Flame, your work is so good. So here's a look again at the Natural Fields preset in action. These are all different cameras, I'm pretty sure. Not all Fuji. It works on all types of cameras. Anything is great. A lot of people ask me that. I get messages all the time. They're like, I want to get your preset, but I shoot, you know, Sony or whatever. Like, that doesn't matter. The preset looks good. I usually just ask around my local town for second. Yeah. Oh, because, yeah, if you can take good photos, again, being a second is mainly about supporting the main photographer. And then after supporting the main, you know, taking good photos when you can. And if you can take portrait shots, you can definitely take wedding. The only difference with wedding is just there's just a lot of stuff happening where you don't have as much control over it as you would if it was just like a portrait shoot. But other than that, you could definitely handle it. This was fun. Nap time for the kiddos. Yes. Thank you for hanging out again, Christina. It's actually It's time for me to figure out eating or something. I need to do something with my life. Just some straight up fire. Yeah, this round of submissions had some amazing shots. Like, really just so good. You'll be adding another perspective as a second shooter. Yep. That's the, yeah. Usually that's, I want support. I want photos that I need, or like backup photos, and then other perspectives of the photos as well. Under 5 hours. I know. Yay! It wasn't 5 hours this time. Yo, those 5-hour streams destroy me. They're really the worst. They're so bad. I mean, they're cool, but it's just it's so trying. The problem is too, like, I'm currently trying to lose weight, so I'm watching what I eat. I'm like 20 pounds down right now. So, you know, like at this point, I like drank my breakfast and it's like 2 o'clock. I'm so hungry. You know, I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. So I need to eat something. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Thanks for your recent second shooting video. Gives me more insight on taking baby steps. Awesome. But yeah, y'all, that's it for today. Thank you for hanging out on the stream. I'm sorry for everyone who submitted JPEGs, but again, I'm looking for raw files so that I can actually edit them and work them out. JPEGs already have their own color presets on them, so putting a preset on top of it works, but it's not the best situation. What am I editing on? This is Lightroom Classic. If you don't want to get into Lightroom Classic, let's say you're not like a full professional photographer yet, look into Lightroom CC, or I think at this point they just call it Lightroom. They change the name like every 5 seconds. It's super annoying, but look at that. That's a little bit more user-friendly for someone who's new to Lightroom. And you can use it on your phone. You can use it on your iPad. It's really cool, so definitely check it out. What's the difference between shooting Adobe Color and sRGB? Oh my goodness. That has to do with the whole color gamut stuff and the range of colors that are taken in. Honestly, in my opinion, unless you're doing some kind of crazy print work or something for like commercial work or something, most everything ends up digital. Most everything ends up sRGB. You may as well shoot sRGB, but yeah, it's like Jesse just said, it's a loaded question. There's a lot in it. I've found that just shooting sRGB is probably the easiest to do overall, but yeah, there's a lot. Like, you could take a whole class on that subject, basically. That's why my menu looks different. Oh yeah, exactly. And if you're using Lightroom or Lightroom CC, it's gonna look different, but it does pretty much the exact same. So don't feel like, oh, I can't use this program because the professionals use Classic. Lightroom is fine. It's a great program, and most of what you see in Classic you can also do in Lightroom. So, you know, don't write it off, basically. But yeah, that's it for me for now. I'm gonna open up a poll somewhere, probably on Instagram, to figure out what type of streams you all want to see, so I can go ahead and schedule the next one for next month. I also have to figure out what's going on with all my weddings and what I'm going to be doing. But yeah, I'd love to do another stream again this year. I'm going to try and do at least one of these streams a month, where it's either editing your photos or critiquing your websites or something of that sort. Something to kind of just give back to y'all for all the awesomeness y'all have helped me achieve on YouTube. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed checking out all the awesome photos. Thank you for submitting. Keep an eye on my Instagram for a poll for the next month of live stream, or even just give me some live stream ideas. And yeah, we'll move on from there. Thanks again for hanging out on the channel, and I will catch you all next time. All right, peace.